Gibbo presents.
It's Gibbo coming to you from South London, where I'm joined by sound owner, promoter, and a man who runs one of the most well-known dub studios in the business. It is Tek-9. Tek, welcome back to the UK.
Thank you, sir. It's good to be back.
Do you think the fact that you have a sound, a studio, and you promote events means that you have an insight into the business that few others have?
Well, it definitely gives me a slight advantage, because as a promoter, it allows me the independence not to depend on anybody to promote me or when I want to, you know. And as a sound owner, it's a nice advantage, especially when you make links, because it allows you to travel the world, as well as allow people to hear the music and your creative side and the way you bring a different creativity to the business for your sound. Now, as a studio owner now, or as you put it, having one of the most popular studios in New York gives me an advantage to build a very rare relationship with artists, as well as allow them to feel comfortable doing songs for when I want to do production, you know, and as well as give a lot of these sounds a way to get the dubs the way they want, because when you use third-party studios to do your dubs, sometimes you don't get what you want, or you have a person who just allows the artist to do what they want. But with me, the way you want it is the way you get it. So that gives me an advantage, because the artists don't give me as much problem as they would give, say, another sound owner, because they're so used to working with me. So if I say, okay, you said this sound name wrong, they won't look at it no way. You know, because sometimes I sit there and I watch the sound try to correct the artist, and the artist gives them a very warm time. So I'm like, no, artist, you said the sound name wrong. Do the sound name right, you know? So it kind of builds a different advantage as far as I see it, you know?
And it gives you a peek into other sounds' dub boxes as well.
You know, honestly, with that part, I know that's probably why a lot of sounds may be feeling away, giving me their dub work. I don't use their creativity to build my box. The reason for that is I have my own creativity, and I have my own way that I do things. I wouldn't want to steal your idea to build my sound, because it's going to be obvious. If we're on a lot of audios, you're going to hear me stealing your idea. And that's one of the things I stray away from, you know. I don't voice dubs like how other people voice it. I don't steal people's lyrics, you know. So it's like, as far as me having a peek in other people's dub box, if me and you clash, I'm not going to play your songs to kill you. I can't. It's just not ethical, and I'm a very ethical person.
Have your views and opinions towards certain aspects of the business changed over the years as you've become more involved with all three elements?
Yeah, because I get to see a side of the business that a lot of people don't know about, sort of like behind the scenes. And I also get to hear a lot of things that people would not hear. So it definitely gives me an insight on what people think and how other people view. And then being that we travel so much, we get to see different experiences on how the music is being taken from every aspect of the world. So that definitely gives me a different view.
Is playing your sound still your favorite aspect of the business, or do you get as much enjoyment from promoting a successful event or providing a good service for other people?
Well, honestly, I get an equal feeling from all three, because all three bring a different form of success to the brand. You know, as a promoter, when I sit there and I see 1,000 people come out to my events, makes me feel good, because the hard work I put in is being shown by the success of the event. Now, as a sound owner now, when you sit down and you write your music and you pick the rhythm that the songs go on, and then you play it in an event and you see the crowd go crazy, that's a different form of feeling good, you know. And then now the studio now is when you sit there and you study the quality and you make sure you put out the best product for yourself and other people that voice with you, that also makes me feel good, you know. That's why I always say thank you for your trust, you know, because you don't have to trust me, but you do. And I appreciate that as a studio owner, businessman, you know, whatever aspect you want to look at it.
What are your thoughts on promoting a clash that your sound is involved in? Do you think that's a conflict of interests?
I do, in many ways, because number one, what a lot of people don't realize is the hard work that it goes into putting out money for the event, and at the same time putting out money preparing for the event. If I spend $20,000 to keep an event, that alone is strenuous on me as a person. But then I have to find more money to prepare for the event, because I don't want to come to my own event unprepared. So I always say that I look at it as I'm spending double. And that's a very hard strain on me as an owner of a sound and a promoter. You know, because it's hard to, it's one thing for people to want to see you do good, but to know what you do to get there, they don't really realize. That's why I myself would not do another event with my sound in it, because it's just too hard, you know.
Talking about your sound, you've been involved in 2 clashes this year. You won the New Jersey Cup clash in very impressive fashion, but then things didn't go so well next time out at Brooklyn Massacre. Can you break down and evaluate your 2 performances for me?
Well, the thing with me is this business is about chance, you know, and with New Jersey Cup clash, we decided as a team to let Montana and Ace play that event, you know, and they did exceptionally well. They did better than a lot of people thought they would have done. But we, as the team, knew they was going to do what they did. You know, because Montana and Ace have experience outside of our sound. So we knew that they had their chemistry together. It was just to play the music in a way that people would accept. You know, and New Jersey Cup clash, the love that Jersey gave us there's no way we could have known that was going to happen like that. But we definitely love New Jersey. And, you know, it was even suggested that we move out there, but we're not leaving Brooklyn at all, you know. But as far as the Brooklyn Massacre now, it was, I have a new MC on the sound, and I wanted to introduce him to Brooklyn people, you know. The thing people don't realize is that when Pretty Rick died 4 years ago, it left me in a very, I would say, very vulnerable state, because I didn't want to stop clashing and kind of make everything Rick did on my sound disappear. And I didn't want to just give the Brooklyn people anything and anything. So I had to, it's been a rough road trying to find the right MC to fit the sound, as well as be accepted by New York people. You know, New York is a very hard place. And I feel they're more harder on their own sound, because they want to see them do good in their own place. But I had to take a chance with the new MC, because good or bad, he had to be known that he plays the sound. How else are you going to know he plays the sound if he doesn't perform at one of the events? So it was easy for me to send Montana and Ace, but they were busy preparing for the New Jersey clash, which was 1 week before. And I didn't want to overload them with preparation to where they wouldn't have focused on one more than the other. So I said, let me let Montana and Ace play the New Jersey clash, and I'll let Indian and Mountain Dew play the New York clash. You know, but they gave them a warm time. It's happened. We passed it. We on to the next. You know, Indian is a very good MC. He has to know how New York clash fans want their music played, and he's not going to know that unless he gets that experience in the battlefield. He's not going to know it listening to audio. He's not going to know it playing juggling dances. He has to be involved in clash to know what to do and what not to do the next time. So next time will be greater, as they say, you know.
So is that how you dealt with preparations for the two clashes so close together? You gave two members, or assigned two members each a clash, and let them prepare for those separately rather than approaching them both as a team?
Right. Because it's you see, it's a thing called burnout. You know, and me as somebody who clashed over the years can understand that. And plus, when you have so much members on your sound, it's hard to give every one of them an equal chance. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give everybody their own opportunity to make a name on the sound. Because there's no one star on my sound. Not even me, the owner. I'm not even the star of my sound. So what I want to do, I want to give everybody an equal opportunity to shine. You know, the sound name is a team name. We all represent the one thing.
Do you think the impressive performance in New Jersey put you under more pressure to perform only a matter of days later at Albany Manor?
Yes, definitely. It put the bar high for what people expected. You know, and be honest with you, I'm not angry at what happened at Brooklyn Massacre, because good or bad, now everybody knows who Bad Indian is. So you see, the next time he comes out, they will already have an idea. And when you don't do so good, you can only do better from there. You understand? So I know that next time they'll accept him more, and they'll be more open to hearing what he has to say. And from his side, he's a man that learns from his mistakes and doesn't make the same mistake twice. So like I said, you can only get better from there.
It must have been a roller coaster of emotions for you. The high from the victory in Newark, followed by the disappointments in Brooklyn?
No, honestly, no. Because, like I said, I have over 15 years of experience with Clash. There's rarely any situation I haven't been in. You know, whether it's me, myself playing the sound, or in the audience watching my selectors play, or whatever. So it is... My thing is this. I have a saying that I always say, there's no emotion in business. You know, I always say that because with business, there's never a straight line. It's either up or down. You know, and I can't really let it disrupt my daily life. You know, I'm not going to beat my kids because I lost the clash last night. You know, I don't mix the two. So I keep it separate, and it's just all I do is more learn from my mistakes and bring it different the next time.
In sports, people often use the phrase or the saying, you're only as good as your last performance. Does this apply to the Sound Clash world? And if it does that mean that the Brooklyn Massacre performance has overshadowed the win in Jersey?
Honestly, no, because everywhere I go, people still talk about the Jersey Clash, and I still get emails and Facebook messages about how great the experience was. And so I just think your last clash only applies to the fan that you're talking to. Because you have some fans that love to see you fail. You have some fans that criticize you. And you have some fans that straight up badmind you. So I think it more appeals to the person you're talking to at the time, more than as a whole. You know, and even though this is a form of entertainment, it's definitely not sports. Unless you're Steve Austin doing push-ups on the stage or something, you know.
Let's now go into some more depth about the rest of the team. Do you think this is the strongest lineup on the sounds that you've ever had?
My sound? Yes, I do. I do. Because what I see in the members on my sound now that I haven't seen in a while is, since Rick, was dedication. Like, the members that play Tek-9 right now kind of pushing me aside because they're loving the sound more than me. You know, and that I can appreciate from everybody. You know, they constantly get calls on dub plate ideas, and we be on 5-way phone calls and talking about this tune on this rhythm, and I haven't seen that much involvement in my sound in a very long time, and that makes me appreciate the people I have on the sound, you know.
What do you feel is each member's greatest asset?
Each member has their own asset. For example, Ace's asset is his mixing skills, you know, as well as Mountain Dew. Montana's asset is his experience as an MC. He knows when something is not going the right way and he can divert it and turn that into the right way. You know, Indian has years of experience because he performed at World Clash. He's been in many clashes and he has that juggling aspect. So everybody brings a different element to the table that could help the sound get to where it has to go. So everybody brings a different element, and I have such a confidence in these guys that it's not even funny. Like, I don't have to be there anymore. I could just know that I send them and it'll get done the right way.
Are there any areas you feel the sound could improve in?
Yes. For Indian and Mountain Dew, I think that the quick mixing thing needs to slow down, which I've told them and they agreed. So we're working on that. Now, Montana and Ace, they have very minimal things to improve on because they went through the headaches. You know, they've been on the sound almost a year and a half, and they've been in enough clashes to see where they're doing wrong, to where now they corrected it, and their mistakes is very minimal. Very.
You, of course, don't just have members based in New York, but abroad too. Is this the way forwards, to have members based in different countries?
Well, for me, it started out as a promotion. I didn't start members in different parts of the world to take over that part of the world. For me, it was like, if I die tomorrow, I want people to remember me here, remember me here, remember me here. You know, it's not like, my fear is to be just a New York sound when the world is so much bigger than New York. That's why when we was in Europe touring, I met with a few people, and I actually met my Europe selector in New York. Mm. And, you know, through talking to him and hearing how dedicated he was and how much he loves the business, I said, let me give it a try. You know, and then in Trinidad now, I have a selector, Nico, which I met. He actually hit me up on Facebook and we talked. Got to find out later that we're family. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that worked out in itself. And then you have St. Croix and St. Thomas, which is the Virgin Island Tek-9. Now, them I met in 1994 when I first started the sound. You know, I took a trip down there with my parents and ended up going to the dancehall scene, and we met, and it started from there. You know, and it's just been a real good journey. And then, you know, the roller coaster with New York, the up and downs and the old selectors, new selectors. You know, it's just been an up and down journey in New York.
So, are you looking to expand on this model in the future? Could we see a Tek-9 Japan, a Tek-9 Kenya, and a Tek-9 UK as well?
Hey, I'm open to anything. You know, I'm like I said, my whole life has been about taking risk. And, you know, they always say innovators are never appreciated in the beginning. Only when people see it work is when people appreciate it. So I'm definitely open to a UK Tek-9, you know, or a Japanese Tek-9, or the Kenya one kind of hard, you know, it's hard to control the Kenya Tek-9, but I'm definitely open to many different ones.
Earlier this year, you released a mix. Tek-9 Movements presents Romain Virgo's tribute to Foundation Rhythms, which has proven to be extremely popular and well received. How and when did you come up with the idea for the project?
When was something I talked to Romain about since September of last year. And we talked about it, but he didn't really take it serious at first. He didn't see the vision at first. So then Romain didn't come back to my studio till January. And, you know, like we did the dub work, and I sat him down and I said, Romain, I really think you need to take this project serious because it's something I really feel could work. And I guess he saw the seriousness in my face and was like, all right, you know what? Send me the material, send me the idea, and I'll think about it. So I sent him the material and the idea, and next thing you know, I had the 15 songs in my email the exact way that I told him to do it. And it's just from there. And then, you know, the cover of the CD was like 1970s Jamaica with the Guinness box on the side.
I love the cover.
Yeah, and then the picture, Romain picture, was actually a picture of him in his video, the Worry Them I Worry video. And it was just history from there. But me and Romain, we talk at least, I would say 3 times a week. And every day, he says, everywhere he goes, somebody brings up the CD to him. Romain even took it upon himself and printed thousands of CDs just to take on tour and give out to people. That makes me feel good because it was an idea I came up with and it was executed and pushed out by me, you know, and recorded by Romain. And it's just something I never expected. You know, last night I checked the thing, we have over 50,000 downloads for a mix CD. You know, so it's like, it's definitely an amazing experience.
Why did you choose Romain as the featured artist?
Because I've always been a person that believed in Romain's talent. You know, since I met Romain from his first song back in the days, and I always told him, I said, man, you have a talent that I haven't seen in a long time. To me, Romain is a breath of fresh air in this new generation of artists. To me, I call him the Sanchez of the new generation. You know, because every generation has an example of the old generation. And he will always be considered the Sanchez, and the way he hits those high notes when he sings is just a phenomenal artist to me. You know, somebody I really respect as an artist.
I've noticed on the front cover it says Volume 1. Is
Right.
there a Volume 2 on the way? Are there any mixes with other artists? Any
Yes.
other concepts you're looking to try out on future mixes?
Yeah, actually, me and Romain, we're talking about a part 2, a Volume 2. And then from Volume 3 on, I will be doing it with other artists. But the newest concept that I want to do now is I'm going to build some rhythms, involve it into that mix, and put a new 45 in there. So at least now the production side of Tek-9 could be introduced to the world differently. Being that the CD already has the popularity, and when people see it, they'll know the type of material they're getting. I can try and put in one of my own productions in there to kind of, you know, because it's all about promoting myself as well as the artist. So you might see a Tek-9 Records in the near future, you know.
What are your thoughts on the overall state of the sound system and sound clash business? Are we currently in a good place in 2014?
You know, I don't like to look at sound clash as in a bad place because it's such a different genre than every other kind of music. I always say sound clash is a world by itself. It's different than the juggling aspect of it. It's different than hip-hop music. It's different than regular reggae because it's a whole different concept brought into music. So I would never think that Clash is in a bad place. You know, you could call it a delusional fan. You could call it any type of thing, but I have such a faith in Sound Clash that I would never think that it would die out. But what I do think is that if the sound men themselves don't take this business a little more seriously, that they will make what everybody has worked so hard to maintain, they will make this business be laughed at. With all these splice tunes, I mean, some of the splice tunes you're hearing are so obvious that how could you not know? You know, all these splice tunes and lack of creativity and it's just so many different things. If they don't take this business serious, it's gonna be a laughing stock, you know. And all these cursings in the dances, and if I may, all these suck your mumas and this and that. A lot of people, they're tired of hearing that stuff. So if sound men don't change their concept and their look of this business, it's going to disappear before they even know it.
Does the scene need innovation and new ideas and concepts being introduced in order to progress and move forward?
It does. It does. But the problem isn't doing it. The problem is, will it be accepted? You know, sometimes you may play in a place where the fans are only used to one way, and your innovation and creativity means nothing. But then you have other places where you could play it and people would take it on and you know, accept it and give you the response you're looking for. You know, it's so hard because you have some places that love new tune and some places that don't like new tune. So you have some places that are willing to take new artists, and you have other places that would just look at you when you play new artists, no matter how good the words are. So it's hard, you know. You can't really give that opinion if you only play one place. You know, you have some sounds that only play in New York, only play in the UK, only play in Europe, and never experience other parts of the world. And that I think is a problem.
What about the introduction of new ideas and concepts when it comes to the structure of a clash? For instance, at the upcoming UK Cup clash, there's going to be a combination round where sounds have to play dubs that feature at least 2 artists. Do we need more ideas like this introduced to freshen things up, give things a new lease of life?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you tell a sound that they have to play combination round, that takes them out of their element. Now they have to find a new way to break through into this business by doing something different. And that's what a lot of sounds lack. They don't get challenged enough to want to do something different. So I'm all for that combination round, considering I have over 200 combinations. So I'm great with that kind of concept.
One concept you brought to New York last summer was the outdoor clash.
Right.
How do you think holding a clash in the open air enhances the experience of the event?
Well, Outdoor Clash last year was such a success because it was the first time something like that has ever been done. So that was the breath of fresh air right there. And to be in a venue when it's smoky and the whole ceiling is full of smoke, Outdoor Clash, we were all out there and the only smoke we got hit with was the jerk chicken man. You know, so it's like that right there was a different aspect. And you know, one of the successes of Outdoor Clash was just coming in there and seeing 2 sound systems the old way. Like, the reason I came up with Outdoor Clash is when I was going to Jamaica, and I've been to so many clashes outdoor, I've always said to myself, why can't we do this in New York? But there was no venues to accommodate that idea. So now CPAC, within the last few years, have been doing summertime outdoor events. And it hit me, and I said, you know what, let me take the chance. You know? So that concept was good. And then had the 2 stages with the 2 tents in case it rained. It was just a, and the best thing for me with the Outdoor Clash was the testing of the sound systems. You know, we was there in the daytime, you know, had a bucket full of beers and everybody brought food, and it was like a family affair, you know. Me and Innocent was there, we was watching it, and when we turned around, it was about 200 people just there for sound check. You know, I've never seen that in New York. I've always seen it in Jamaica, and it was just a good feeling all around, man. I'm so proud of the first Outdoor Clash.
Do you have any other ideas you'd like to try out at future Tek-9 promoted clashes?
Definitely. You know, I wanna do New York's first boat ride clash. You know, call it War in the Sea. You know, I've been fighting with that concept for the last 2 years, but I'm gonna make it happen this year. And another idea that I came up with was it's a boxing ring clash. Call it King of the Ring, where I bring an actual boxing ring, build it in the middle of the sound clash floor, and just have the people around the boxing ring with the sounds performing in the middle of the boxing ring. You know, I mean, I have so many ideas. It's just to make it happen, and the timing. Everything is timing. You know, so hopefully those ideas will get pushed into the history books eventually.
Lastly, just before we finish, if there was one thing you could change about the Soundclash business, what would it be?
You know, that's the easiest question you could ever give me. I would have to say the bad mind aspect of the business. You know, bad mind is such a powerful thing, especially when one person can convince another person not to like you, and neither one of them know you. You know, and all I say is just give that person your bad mind and a fair chance, or at least go and meet them and talk to them. At least that way, if you don't like them, you'll know you don't like them because of how your vibe is with them. But to just hate on a person and you don't know them, never held a conversation with them, that would be the first thing I change about the business.
Tek, it's great to see you over here in the UK.
Thank you.
I know you're going to be back again soon. Hopefully we can catch up again.
Definitely.
Thanks a lot.
All right, bless up.
Gibbo.